So I've got this 2007 BMW 750 Li, the e65, e66 car. I'm having this issue where every time I fuel up, for the first couple of days, my whole car just smells like fuel. And it smells like fuel in the cabin and on the outside, but pretty strong in the cabin. I finally pulled my back seat up and look what I found. So I just barely fueled this car up, and then I drove home. See how much fuel is right there? That's a lot. And obviously this whole car smells like fuel. I pulled the one on the other side, because this is the passenger side. I pulled the one on the driver's side as well. You can see that it's bone dry. One thing to know, I don't understand how this thing works super well right now, but the driver's side one only has one tube and then one connection. This one has two tube or hoses or whatever, and then a connection in there as well. So I'm gonna figure this out and I'll document this all, see what's going on. Alright, I'm on the outside of the car. I'm just giving you guys a viewpoint of what the outside of the car is looking like. As you would expect, the fuel has leaked over the top of the fuel tank and it's spilled down to the bottom. The other side is bone dry. This car has been smelling like evap for a while now, and I was confused because I wasn't getting any check engine light. Like, this car does not throw a check engine light. It'll pass the emissions just fine, but I've been smelling fuel, so I've just been waiting for a check engine light to come on. Hopefully give me an idea of what's going on with the evap system, but I have not had any codes. And finally it got to the point where I was also smelling it in the cabin. So I decided, like, why don't I just take a look at this and see if I can see what's going on. I'm not exactly sure where my leak is coming from. As you can imagine, it could be the O-ring around this thing here. Could be this line cracked or this line cracked, or I've even seen people online say that this green thing here can also crack as well. One thing I am noticing, I don't know if you can see it, I haven't removed the fuel at all, but you can see it. See how that's flowing? It's literally flowing through that. You can see it. I can't tell where it's coming from though. I'm gonna go ahead and empty. I'm gonna vacuum out this gasoline and I'm gonna see if I can figure out where this is coming from. Because I can't tell. It almost looks like it's coming out of the connector. So I know exactly where this thing is leaking from. You can see that hairline crack. Actually, it's thicker than a hair. That black line going across there. It is leaking straight out of there. It's pretty obvious because when I put the vacuum up to it, every single part dries out except for that line, that black line there. It just stays wet right there. It just will not dry no matter what. And then the second I move away the vacuum, and then it just, from that line, it just sucks up right back. And I could even like kind of press on it and, you know, it kind of moves. But so yeah, that green, it's the green thing, whatever that is busted. My part came in and I finally ran my tank on empty so I can finish this video now. So I'm just doing the repair. I should have all the tools that I need here. I got the hammer, this punch, mask because it's gonna smell like gasoline. I got my 10mm, gloves, these. I might need some pliers, but we'll find out. So I'm just gonna pop the seat up and start the repair. I want to document this for anybody who's trying to diagnose this repair. You can see now that I ran my tank empty, it's not full, like overflowing with gasoline anymore. See that? It'd be hard to diagnose this repair or this being the issue when the tank is empty because it just doesn't overfill like that. I have my window marker, I guess tire marker actually. I didn't buy the specialty tool. I was going to, but it's kind of expensive. Instead, I'm just going to mark where this thing is at with this tire pen, and I'll show you how I'm doing that because I don't think it's worth spending the money for that specialty tool. I marked with my tire pen just 2 marks so that I can know how tight to get that ring there. The specialty tool allows you to actually torque this down because this ring does have a torque spec. Also, it allows you to open it without potentially creating a spark, and it is a risk doing it how I'm doing it with a hammer and a chisel, just because it can spark. But I'm gonna put the paper towel in place to prevent any sparking. I don't think it's gonna spark. I think I'm fine. So I got this thing untwisted. It was pretty easy. Another thing I'm noting is, so I have this original dot there, but when I twist it all the way around, it's ready to come up now, and it's in this position. I'm making a note of that as well, you know what I mean? And I wrote this little circumference just to help me know that like it's not that one. It's possible that I can only thread in on one part, I don't know, but just to be safe I just put a line there, put a mark there. Let me show you an issue that I'm having. So I have this installed, I have the car running right now actually. When I was tightening it, the fuel pump went a little bit off center, see that? It's still leaking out, it's leaking out of the new seal. And this fuel pump, the grain thing is not quite centered. You can see how the spacing is on that. You can see over here, see that? It's not even. So I'm going to turn the car off and then just loosen the gray ring and just try to recenter it and then tighten it again. I'm at the gas station right now. I just filled up my tank, 20 gallons. As you can see, there is no fuel leaking out of here, so this thing is good. It's fixed. One thing I forgot to mention, when you pop this line off, it sprays fuel everywhere. I mean, like, it's like under pressure, you know what I mean? And so just be mindful of that. When you pop this off, it tries to spray fuel at you. So I just like opened it, like I just popped it off a little bit, let it leak out. Then I pulled it all the way off. I didn't disconnect my battery. I probably should have, but I didn't. One thing I did do is I disconnected this electrical connection before disconnecting the lines, which you definitely, you want to take this one off first. I didn't do this, but I'm guessing if I were to take this off first, the fuel line, I think it probably would have sprayed a bunch of fuel at me because it still has power. But I don't know. I didn't want to gamble it, so I just disconnected the power from the line, and then I disconnected the fuel lines so that, you know, it's not just spraying everywhere.